Hey everybody, today is November 21st, 2023, and today we're going to talk about the price of Bitcoin and where I see the price of Bitcoin headed towards in the month of December. Before we begin, please read the disclaimer and you can pause this video as you read it. Okay, so I know it's a little early to make the December forecast video, but the holidays are coming up and I figured I'll just knock this one out before it gets pretty busy with family and friends coming over. So yeah, so I thought I'd make it a little bit earlier than I usually do. But anyways, let's get to the point and yeah, so in this video, I'm talking about where I believe the price of Bitcoin is headed towards for the month of December. And my last video, which I made around this time in late October, I said that after coming up from a very powerful pump, I thought that we would follow a similar pattern. A lot of people thought that a lot of people were still very bearish, right? We went on crypto Twitter or on Reddit, a lot of people were very bearish. It kind of reminded me of the sentiment in January, coming off from the December lows, right? After FTF collapsed, we saw this huge pump, right? And we also saw something similar in the RSI, going very overbought, right? Up here. And I saw this looks very similar, right? Going overbought, and then starting to come down a little bit, right? And I saw if we follow a similar pattern, it's possible that we can actually follow. Like even though we were overbought, we saw the price still move up higher, right? And a lot of this was a lot of people shorting over here after a massive move higher, right? A lot of people were shorting here and they got squeezed out. So there was just so much bearishness because people thought that this was just a fake pump because things were so bad in terms of like the after effects of FTX, right? And all the people getting, a lot of other companies shutting down and people getting like indicted and stuff. So I thought we would actually see another similar price action. We would move sideways, and then in my last video I said that I thought after coming up this pump we would actually consolidate and then make another move higher, just like we saw in here, right? So for the most part I was right. Where I was wrong is that I didn't expect the move. I thought the move would be a little bit more powerful, but like we saw in January. But in retrospect, it does make sense because this move came out of a much more positive, right? We were basically consolidating and building a base, and then we finally broke out, right? Sort of like an ascending triangle pattern. So it does make sense that even though there was a lot of people bearish here and looking for shorts, there was still a lot of people bullish and thinking that this was going to continue up higher. So even though for the most part I was right in terms of it consolidating and making one more leg higher, we did have a significant correction. There's a lot of choppy price action, right? You see a huge green candle and then basically down and then recovering it, but still coming down a little bit. So I can see us basically chopping sideways for a while. I think the month of December is going to be just holding this level, at least 34,000 at the very least, but perhaps coming down to 35,000. So I think we're going to chop sideways for the month of December. I think the bulls are going to try to defend this level, but I think that near the end or somewhere in the middle, we'll eventually make a move higher. Since things are looking very good for the most part, right? This year has been a great year. Bitcoin up over 100%. Let's kind of zoom out to see. Right, so here we have the Fibonacci levels. We've been trying a long time to break through 30,000, right? Because if you look in our last bull market, 30,000 held as strong support. Not only support, but also our Fibonacci support level, right? And then we broke down in 2022. So what happens is when we break this strong support level, it becomes strong resistance. So we came back above, tried to break through 30,000, and third time the charm, right? Finally broke back above. Just like 1, 2, 3, third times when we broke down. So now we're up basically 4 weekly green candles in a row. So it's not unexpected for us to have a red month, maybe 2 red months in a row after such a strong rally. So I do think that we might have a consolidation for the remainder of the month. But in December, I'm thinking we consolidate and then we try to form a base to push up higher. I think the bulls need to put in the work, right? Because the bears are looking for some shorts here, right? But yeah, monthly, let's get a cleaner chart. Let's take a log out. So monthly is looking good, right? We're bouncing off the 50-month moving average, going back. An important level that I talk about a lot is the 200-week moving average, right? Because this 200-week moving average, which is the blue line, has historically held as strong support, right? Here, right? And back here in 2019. So this was 2015, 2019, 2018, 2019, and back in the COVID crash 2020, right? And we basically, for the first time in Bitcoin's history, we went below and stayed below for a significant period of time, right? In 2022, when all the crypto companies were collapsing and then culminating in the collapse of FTX, one of the biggest exchanges, right? But now, so it did make sense that we would have a hard time struggling. So we spent the majority of the year basically trying to defend 200-week moving average. And I even said how important this was in my tweet, right? Here. And by the way, if you haven't followed me, please follow me on x.com or twitter.com, EddieLux_. And I said that if you look back in my previous couple of tweets, I just tweet several times how important 200-week moving average is, right? 200-week moving average all the way back from August, right? And finding harder to claim 200 weeks. So my most recent post was November 14th, and I said that Bitcoin strong rally after reclaimed 200-week moving average. So after we finally reclaimed the 200-week moving average, we had 4 strong weekly green candles in a row. Sorry, actually it's 5. I didn't see this part here. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like I said, this is really great. Everything's looking really bullish, especially the fact that we finally broke around 30,000. Huge resistance level, right? And also Fibonacci resistance level. Now the challenge is now to turn this Fibonacci or 30,000 level into support, and we might come down a little bit. The bears are going to try to pull it down to retest, but I think that the best case scenario is for the bulls to really just defend this level, right? Don't let it go significantly below 35,000, right? Maybe it'll chop sideways a little bit, but as long as the bulls can come in and absorb the supply right now, maybe form like a ascending triangle pattern, right? Higher lows, but consistently hitting this around 38,000 level of resistance before we finally break above, right? And that could take a couple more weeks. It could take some time, right? But I do think that that's where we're headed. There's just a lot of positive tailwinds right now. Looking at the stock market has had a spectacular rally, coming off the idea that the Fed might stop hiking rates, right? So the Fed funds rate at 5.32%, which is the highest we've been in over 10 years, right? And basically what we saw was we've seen inflation peak last summer around 9.1, and then we've basically seen a every month over month decrease all the way up until this summer, right? And then we started to see a bounce from June to July, right? And that coincides with the market correction, right? Which started in late July. And finally, it bottomed out around October, and in November we had a nice rally in November due to the fact that the October inflation report, which came out earlier this month, the month of November, said that perhaps the short-term bounce in the inflation rate has finally come down, right? 3.7, 3.2. Now it's important that we wait to confirm, because this isn't a trend yet. This is just one data point, so we need to wait until December 12th. Sorry, December 12th to see if November's inflation report is going down. So if this comes down to like 3.1 or 3.0 or lower, then that's going to be very positive. The market's going to take that very well. It's going to probably rally. This is the S&P 500 ETF, SPY. The market probably rally because in their minds, the Fed is probably done hiking and perhaps will consider cutting rates in 2024, right? And that's going to be very bullish for risk-on assets like Bitcoin. So Bitcoin generally will follow the stock market. So that could lead more. That's more potential tailwinds to make it go higher, right? So that's a major news catalyst for the month of December, right? The CPI report. And we definitely want to see the CPI continue to go down lower, and that's going to add more fuel to the fire. And also, it's going to hurt the dollar value, the Dixie dollar, which has been going down since that CPI report came out early this month. See this huge red candle? That was the day the CPI came out, right? So, and we already talked about this many times, that the US dollar index is inversely proportional to the value of Bitcoin, right? When the dollar is weak, Bitcoin is strong, and vice versa, right? So starting to see the dollar come down after a strong rally this year. I mean, look at this, multiple weekly green candles in a row, but starting to come down a little bit, right? If this continues to come down more, that's more potential tailwinds for Bitcoin to move up higher, right? So so just to quickly summarize, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the bulls need to put in the work to defend 35,000 at the very least, and 34,000 at the most. And I don't want to see us come down before 34,000, right? Otherwise, all this work the bulls put into to defend this level is going to be undone, right? We don't want to see it come down or anything to even to retest 30,000, because we already tested 30,000 so many times. So we want to see us defend, at least 35,000, okay, 34,000 at the very lowest. So bulls put in the work, chop, perhaps see something like a ascending triangle pattern before it break up higher, okay? So let's move on and look at the fear and greed index. Is at greed, right? Green. That means there's a strong bullish trend, but it's not necessarily overbought, right? We're not in extreme greed yet, so still a lot of upside to come. And the fact that we might possibly consolidate for a little longer will possibly reset the fear and greed index down to neutral, which will again give us more fuel when we do finally break down of a consolidation pattern to move up higher, right? total hash rate is still moving up to all-time highs, still very strong, right? I mean, look at this. This is from 2021, right? This is the China exodus, right? And since all the miners have been moved around the world, making this Bitcoin network actually stronger, more decentralized, right? Not concentrated in one country. This hash rate has just been going up and continuously making new all-time highs. Okay, so 2-year multiplier. Again, this is a chart I talk about a lot because it's just very simple to look at, right? When the price of Bitcoin is below this green line, it becomes shaded, and that becomes generally, historically, a good time to buy. When it goes to touch the orange/red line and it goes above, that's usually when we're overbought, and it's a good time to take some profits, right? In the last cycle, we actually didn't go above the red line, so perhaps that's a sign that we might see something similar for the next cycle. I don't know. We'll have to take it day by day, right? But it is worth knowing that this cycle we were actually below the green line longer than we were in 2015, and so I don't know, who knows, maybe there's going to be a huge move coming up, right? Perhaps. Pi cycle top indicator usually is a very accurate sign of where you should take profits, right? But it's also a good place to see, it's a good chart to see where Bitcoin has potentially bottomed, right? Usually Bitcoin during a bear market will go below this orange line, but once it comes up above the orange line, it tends to stay above. In a strong bull market, we'll see it trend above and come down and retest this orange line as support and this green line as resistance. So we haven't tested the green line yet, but the green line is at 50,000. So it just suggests that perhaps if we do see a move higher in the price of Bitcoin, 50,000 could be a potential resistance level, a major resistance level, right? Because every time it hits that green line during the recovery phase, right? Not necessarily in the parabolic phase of the top of the cycle, but as it's moving up, building a base, building a channel, it tends to hit that level as the green line as resistance. But the good news is, the most important thing is that we hold above the orange line. When we hold above the orange line, the probability of it continuing up higher is a lot higher than it is if it stays below the orange line, right? As we see in the last 2 cycles, right? All the way back to 2016, right? And I've said many times that this cycle looks very similar to the 2016-2017 cycle, and this thread is actually something I've been since back in July, right? Bitcoin price action now resembles 2016-2017 bull market, slow and steady. Will history repeat? And I basically highlighted this similar pattern when we broke out of the bottom of 2015 and we started to build a range higher, right? And it went parabolic in 2017, right? Something similar. We're starting to build a range, slow and steady, move higher. And that's basically what I'm personally looking for. And I think that this cycle is going to be something similar to that sort of price action. And it is a trend, a thread that I am continuing, will continuously update, perhaps until the end of the bull cycle. Who knows, right? But definitely follow me on x.com, Twitter, @EddieLux_ to continue. I will continue to post on this. So golden ratio multiplier, right? Golden ratio multiplier again says that once we go above we tend to go below this yellow gold line during the bear market, but once we reclaim that level, we tend to make slow and steady improvements to reclaim each higher level, right? Until it goes parabolic. And right now we're still on the first level, right? Just above the gold line, below the green line. And so there's potentially a lot more room to move higher, right? So this is looking very bullish as well, looking very similar to when we got out of the bear market in previous cycles, right? Similar to the Bitcoin Cycle Master, right? Which takes different values and superposes it on the chart to give you possible bottoms and tops, right? I mean, this is looking very similar to what we've seen in previous cycles, where we bottomed here, here, and here above the green line, right? And we're just getting above the blue line right now, right? And this is again very similar to where I said where I drew that box and that. See, go here, right? I drew the box here and a box here, right? And that looks very similar to here, right? Where we just reclaim the blue line. We just reclaim the blue line. Now we're moving up to the purple line, right? So very similar to 2016-2017 bull cycle, right? And here is a chart that also puts in different indicators. It superposes a lot of different indicators of where the top and bottoms in previous market cycles have been to predict where it could be in the future for this future cycle, right? And again, similarly, it says the bottom is probably in compared to previous cycle bottoms, and also the top, there's still a long way to go to hit the top, right? And right now, the top, at least the red line, is at, let's see, over 100,000. So, this next cycle might take us above 100,000 finally, right? So, anyways, all these charts are basically bullish, right? That's basically what I'm trying to say is that there is more probability in right now that Bitcoin will continue higher than it will continue lower, right? So again, things are looking very good for the long-term potential growth of Bitcoin. We just need to take this slow and just start to reclaim more every resistance level until we get to the all-time high, and we take that out, and then now we have price discovery, right? But that could take a while, probably sometime next year, and then next year, early 2025. If we do believe the 4-year cycle, then 2025, late 2025 should be the peak of this cycle, right? But we have a lot of potential tailwinds coming up next year. We have the halving in spring of next year, so that's definitely something to look out for. But like I said, at least for the short term, the month of December, which is what this video is about, to summarize again, I do think that after this, we'll probably consolidate a bit. Bulls need to put in the work, defend at least 35,000, 34,000 at the most. I think if we go below 34,000, I think that's going to be bad news, okay? But I think that the Bulls will put in the work and defend this level. And of course, we got to look out for CPI report in December 12th, and we want to see, the trend of the CPI to continue down lower. And that's going to give the market more confidence, stock market and the crypto markets more confidence that perhaps the Fed is done raising rates and they might consider cutting rates next year, which is going to be great, right? And that's going to hurt the dollar, which is also going to inversely proportionally to the price of Bitcoin will possibly raise the price of Bitcoin higher, right? Give it more fuel to push up higher. So again, bulls need to defend this level, consolidate. Maybe sometime in mid to late December, we see another push up higher after consolidating and absorbing all the sells from the bears. So something like that I want to see. That's what I'm looking to see. And yeah, things are for the most part looking more bullish than bearish. And yeah, I'm very excited to see where price of Bitcoin heads toward the end of the year and into the new year. And yeah, I just want to wish everybody a happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving, and Merry Christmas. And I'll try to put out a video. I know it's gonna be very busy next month near the holidays. I'll try to put out a video maybe in the last week or two of December for the January forecast. And yeah, I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, useful, or informative, please like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe for updates. I appreciate all your support. And thank you again, and have a great day.